get out there and run around today?
It was what I felt like it was a new experience. I haven't really put pads on, since the Orange Bowl, and I haven't tackled anybody since the Orange Bowl either, because we weren't in full pads there or anything. So that's going to be a weird experience, for me too. But just really cherishing the moment, understanding I don't have a lot of time left with this game, and just really thankful that I've been able to get back healthy. And it's been a long time, but I love this game, and I love being a part of a team and having success and also failing too, on the field. And so I don't take that moment for granted at all.
How healthy are you? I mean, do you feel like
this is the healthiest that I'll be, I think, and that I have been in a long time. And what's weird is I didn't really have any injuries in high school, but all of a sudden, I get a hip, and then all of a sudden, I get two pecs and another hip, and then, my hamstrings are made out of like cold Twizzlers. So, but yeah, I mean, I feel really good now, and this is the most I've paid attention to my body and try to eat right and, consistently stretch and stuff. I feel really healthy right now.
You haven't been tested yet, as you said, but do you feel, I don't know, are you worried about any hesitation or anything about re-injuries or that kind of thing?
No, I think I've taken, the necessary precautions, and also, our training staff is the best that you can get anywhere. Just with their protocols and they're texting me nonstop, like, when you coming in, when are you going to do this, when are you going to do that, and making sure I'm hydrated and doing all sorts of tests on me to make sure that they're not going to put me in harm's way. And so they do a really good job of that.
Do you approach this season differently just because of what you've gone through recently, having the game taken away from you for a little bit, and also because the time that you have playing this game is starting to dwindle? Do you approach this year differently than maybe some of the other years you've had?
From a mental standpoint, no. I think I've always been a guy who's always watching tape and try to study an opponent. But from a physical standpoint, I would say yeah. Just like really consistently getting treatment every day and again, just stretching before I go to bed. And that's something I didn't really do my freshman and sophomore year because I just didn't need to. But from a physical standpoint, yes. Mental, no.
You were on the headsets during games last year.
I was.
Whose idea was that, and kind of what was your role?
I think Coach Dooley had approached me on the field before maybe the Notre Dame game, and he was like, "You're going to be on the headset," and I was like, "What do you mean? Like, what are you talking about?" And so like they just threw me in a headset, and for most of the games I didn't put a helmet on that I wasn't healthy enough. I was wearing that, and it was a really cool experience. I'd never done that before, and I kind of felt like I was inside of a video game that's also like listening to somebody play chess, like listening to to Coach Goodwin talk, and here's why he's thinking this, and here's what's going on here, and what set they're in, and stuff. What call are we going to do, and here's why, and just stuff like that, and just a really cool experience to hear what all goes on behind the scenes. And I'd never had that experience before ever, and being as close to the game as I have been in my life, that was just a whole nother experience that I've never had, and it was addicting. So it was pretty cool.
Is that something you would want to continue to do? I mean, is that?
Yeah, I think so. I got a political science degree, but I'm not going to law school. So that's my desire. Whenever I'm done, to go be a GA or an analyst or whatever somewhere, a part of a team. So.
Do you know any head coaches that might?
Maybe. Yeah, we'll see. So I still got some time left. So. Yeah, but hope I'm here now, but I'm also excited for that opportunity if that comes to be.
Tyler, what was last season like for you? I mean, getting banged up, not being able to play, watching, what happened with this team last year, the negative and then the positive at the end. How did it all affect you?
It was frustrating. I think anybody would say that, and when you're a part of a team and when you put so much work in, and regardless of whether you're doing the drills or not, or you're injured, you're still showing up and you still care. My heart broke for the guys who were putting the work in and sweating and bleeding and stuff. But just frustrating to watch. Sometimes the ball just didn't bounce our way, and other times we just kind of just didn't do what we were supposed to do, and it's a frustrating thing. But this game punishes you for your lack of precision and in your details, and that's really essentially what happened. But just trying to be an optimistic guy, as an older guy, and I've it's not like we've won all the time since I've been here, and so I've seen some of the failure, and so I try to be like a level and cool head with some of the younger guys, and try to just nothing the record don't matter. We're here to compete because we love this game and we love this university, and we owe it to everybody around here to give our best effort, regardless of whether we're 8-0 or 0-8. It don't matter. This is what you signed up for. This is a game that you played when you were 5. Like, how could you not want to keep playing this? Like, your time is limited. And so just trying to remind people of that like we're not here to just for wins and losses. Obviously it matters, but when you're in that position, like, what are you going to say? You got to find a way to motivate the team and your guys. And so obviously frustrating, but also really, really cool to watch everybody rally together and fight back. When nothing went our way in the beginning, and then all of a sudden, we have this stretch where, just guys just fought, and it was just cool just to see everybody's back against the wall and just to not cave in and not to give up. When everybody else around us is saying, it doesn't matter, nothing matters, and you're not in the playoff, and just really cool to see everybody, bind together, and fight for, a common goal.
What voice do you feel like going into this year? So many guys looking up to you. It's something that you seem like you're a pretty natural fit to do. Do you feel like your voice is pretty important?
I'm the last guy to sit up here and say, I'm all this and that. But, I know I'm an older guy, and I know that, I have some intelligence with this game and specifically defense. And I know I bring some value when we watch film, for example. Like, I know a little bit more than the vast majority of people. And so I try to give input there. And, I don't try to ever, speak too much, because I know that can, get a little bit repetitive and guys can get tired of it. So, just going across with all of the older guys on the team, trying to create one unified, solid voice of here's what we want and here's our goals, rather than, just one person, rather than just Barrett speaking or multiple people speaking, multiple upperclassmen and also younger guys, coming together and realizing a common goal and speaking out towards the team, I think is more important than my voice. But specifically, defensive, philosophy and strategy, I think I can bring some value there.
To hear Wes going on the headset as opposed to being coached by him, what more did you learn about him and kind of that, just is the photographic memory accurate? Like, is he Wes the Choke?
Yeah, he definitely knows what he's talking about. And, just hearing why, most importantly, why he was calling stuff on the headsets and, it felt like, like he just put guys in a perfect call to, to execute successfully, never trying to put guys in a bind. And, but yeah, he's the real deal, and he's really smart.
How many people could you hear on the headset? Just him or others too?
The other on the field coaches and a couple of people. I couldn't give you an exact number, to be honest with you. I didn't speak, so I did not want to I think I'm kind of smart, but I'm not gonna speak. No.
You weren't tempted to just chime in and say, "Who the heck made that call?"
No. Yeah, that's the last thing I'm gonna do. So maybe on Sunday after we win and I bring some donuts to the office, then I'll ask the question.
RJ called you you're his brother. In that sense, what is your relationship with him, man? How do you feel about him in that aspect?
Yeah, this will be our 5th year being roommates, and just being able to hang out with him all the time and experiencing life with him. Because college it's a fun and difficult experience, and to go through it with him, and especially for him to come back was it was awesome. And I didn't really tempt him. I just would try to ask him, what are you thinking? Here's give me some pros and cons, and he would just list everything out, and I would just try to be an ear to listen to, because I know he already had a bunch of people asking, and had a lot of stress on him. But yeah, he means a lot to me, and obviously what he was talking about, asking questions to each other, and he would always put these what if questions together, and he could always figure out here's what happens if we're going to do this or that, and I was like, what are you talking about? And then he would make me figure stuff out. So he's really smart, and just blessed to have him back for another year.
guess you were on the sidelines watching, but Camille Barnes, what he was able to do as a freshman, how rare is that, and what does that make you think of his potential as a sophomore?
Yeah, that's not the norm. To go out and I don't know the stats, but just to to play how he did, and to be a vocal presence and a physical presence too on the field, is special. Just watching the him have multiple interceptions, and especially the South Carolina game was crazy. Obviously not the norm though. Thankful to have him back, and but he'll tell you more than anybody that last year doesn't mean anything. And he's got everything to prove, and he obviously he's made a name for himself, but he knows that can go away real quick if he doesn't bring it to the table and fight for this team.
How much of a hunger do you feel like there is on this team generally, just considering how last season went and the last couple of seasons?
I think it's different, than what I've been a part of in the, my freshman and sophomore year. I felt like those teams were, more led by strictly upperclassmen, and especially defensively, specifically upperclassmen. But this team, I felt like a lot of the younger guys have just not necessarily like stepped up and took over, but just had an intense hunger and an intense desire to learn, to grow, and just like allowing older guys like me, like RJ, to just pour details onto them, and that means a lot. Like when they're willing to grow and mold together, rather than not to be like, hey, I got it. Like I've already played this year. I'm a good player, and they're just super humble and have a ton of humility to them, to where it's relieving in today's day and age of college football to have a ton of young guys who are so passionate about team and care about one common goal rather than NIL and this and that. So just really cool to be a part of that.
Anybody else for Tebow? All right.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Colin.